Welcome to Unscripted, Believe at Noon, the podcast on Noon Miracle, where we sit down for real conversations that reveal the miracle in all of us. I'm your host, Amy Goldberg, and joining me today is the amazing Jane Sibbett, who is also the creator and founder of Noon Miracle. And we're joined today also by our guest, Kristina Hamlett. Each episode, we get to know someone new, not just by what they do, but who they are, by simply talking and listening. It's all about the connection, curiosity, and discovering the magic that lives in all of us. So let's dive in. This is Believe at Noon. Well, Kristina, welcome to Believe at Noon. We are so happy that you're here with us.
Yeah, so great to see you, Kristina.
You too, Jane. Thank you for having me, Amy and Jane.
Well, I want to. I mean, your creativity and expression is a gift. I've heard it. I've read it, and I want to ask you: when did you first know that you were a creative person? Like, oh wait, I really need to make things. When was that for you?
I think probably not unlike most people since I was a child. I would find myself writing trying to write short stories and journaling. So I never thought I was a visual artist because I'm one who struggles with stick figures. So I knew I wasn't that. Like that dream was dashed immediately. However, I did always like to journal, and I would dream up characters. My brother and I used to make up songs, and we would make up dances and force our parents to watch them. And neither of us can sing. Right? And embarrassingly enough, this is like late 80s, early 90s, my grandfather videoed everything. Like, he had the first video cameras that used to have to plug into an outlet. So he would make us, because it was just like, for him, it was like, you have to have something on tape. In his mind, he was a filmmaker. And he would have, his name was Ed Zare. He's from Haiti. Both sides of my family are from Haiti. So when he got very excited about technology, so he would film us all the time. I would be reading, he would be filming us. He would be like, do something for the camera. So it's funny that I didn't think about acting or anything like that, but it let me know there was something beyond, before social media, that there was someone could be watching you or expecting you to perform or want you to say something or do something. But for me, I was more drawn to reading. So I wanted to emulate what I wrote. I was obsessed with the Babysitters Club, so I tried to have my own Babysitters Club in the neighborhood.
A good book series in our household too.
Yes, yay for Anna and Martin. But yeah, I always, like, one of my favorite books was Jacob Have I Loved by Catherine Patterson, and yes. I was obsessed with reading and trying to create characters, and then poetry came much later, but I was always drawn to poems as well.
Huh. And so always so evocative. I know that we've talked about, like, translating these times that we're in right now. What has your writing been like lately?
I would say, even though I am hopeful, I think I need to get out the despair in my writing. So it's so funny. My sister says, "You always sound so sad." And I was like, but I'm not. I'm just getting it out. It's my outlet. So, and one of my most recent poems is, it's entitled, "Do I Have the Right?" And it's me dreaming of living in another country. What would that be like? And if I don't take the chance to do something, whether it's not living in another country or not, will I have taken all the risk I've dreamed of? Like, my fear, even though I know this is not who I really am, is, do I know everything that I already will ever know? Like, I am afraid of not facing and not trying everything. I don't think it's a rational fear, but it's there. It's there. I want to take it.
I have that same thing. So I think you're speaking to a collective experience. Like, what else can I learn? What else do I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
Kristina, do you have that poem with you, in front of you, anywhere near?
I might actually.
Of
course, it's right here.
No.
And I didn't even tell you to bring it.
You did not. No,
we could always bring it up later, but
yes.
My goodness.
Yeah, my I sent it to my husband. I read it at Visual Arts Center, our local art center. They do visual and written arts, and it's such a beautiful place. They're located downtown, and they have a poetry fest every single year in
Yes,
April, because April's National Poetry Month.
yes, it
So
is.
I sent it to my husband to print out for me because I was performing, and I it's interesting. I really hope I can find it, but yeah, it's interesting because in the sense that I really I was looking through my journals the day before, and I had other pieces ready. I have a book out. I could have just read from that, but there was something, it was just drawing me towards that energy of reading something completely new. And I went through all my journals, and I ended up finding it. So
Well,
yeah.
Christina, if you can't find it, then
Mhm.
we can read it later and we can tack it on.
Absolutely.
And
But
Christina, what were you like as a kid?
Curious, rule following, which yes, probably quirkier than I realized.
Huh.
Yes. Yeah. I was rule following because you come from an immigrant family and you have to have a certain respect for authority, make good grades. There's a lot of we've come to this country so you can have this life. My parents came here earlier, I mean, as children, but they still, the culture is still there. They
Yeah.
so, but I was probably quirkier than I realized. I wanted to
Were
read
you
all.
born here, Christina?
Yes, I was born in New York, in
Oh,
Queens.
right, right, right. Yeah.
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 So there's just a lot of, I would say rule following, but I was also felt like I was not caught between two worlds. I just acknowledged there was two worlds. So there's a world where you speak Creole and rice and beans are your norm. And then there's a world where everything is Americanized. And I was curious and I was aware of that there was a world outside of this country. And I think it took me a while to realize that other people didn't have that too. Like I don't know why it took me so long, but it did. But I think I was just a quirky kid. I daydreamed a lot. Um, I was obsessed with getting good grades. I daydreamed a lot. Sometimes I was anxious. Yeah,
And
but
the normal adolescent,
yes,
young, a creative
yes.
soul that's constantly questioning and curious. Christina, I think it's really beautiful just to talk to that experience for a moment about what it was like for you to have that running through this. That is a really typical American experience. I mean, we are the beautiful we have been for a very long time, the beautiful melting pot of all of that is. And then now we've got these times. So riding to these times right now, and then finding your way through. I don't know, we had started at the very beginning with this feeling of creativity will help bring us through. So what is your practice for your creativity to help with the balance of all that is?
The first thing that came up for me is to the sentence answer when it calls.
Oh,
So
I like that.
sometimes, yeah, I will. Nope. Sometimes I cannot help but find the nearest notebook and start writing, or keep notes app on my phone. Answer when it calls. Sometimes and again, the quirky kid has not left. Sometimes it's turning on the music and just dancing in the house.
Okay, you're
Um,
speaking my language.
yeah. No, I just because I music shows up in a lot of my work. So even in the piece I that was posted on Noon Miracle, nesting, there's part about the woman who gave us the tour of the Northern Net Conservancy playing David Bowie on the radio.
Right.
Um, there's a part of me I'm paying attention to the entire experience from the moment my husband and I got in her car, till she drops us back off to our car. I'm paying attention to everything, and obviously, one of the things that speaks to me is music, and
Yes.
yeah. So something, yeah. So for me, it's answer when it calls. It's a video you're listening to. It's the urge to write something down. It's the music you're listening to. It's the way, yeah, your body wants to move.
Right.
Answer when it calls.
I love that. I know that among my group of girlfriends, we've also talked about like, oh, that'll be good for the toolbox. We'll take that. We'll put that in the pocket, and we'll deal with it later.
Mhm.
But sometimes that toolbox, like, wow, there's a lot in there to pull from, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so you feel that call here
Yes.
and here.
Yeah. And I'm
Especially
learning to.
too during like such fearful times, we tend to speed up rather than slow down. So giving pause to that knowing is
Mhm.
really powerful.
I've learned to do that. And I'm sometimes, obviously, I mean, our journey isn't linear. So we're going back and forth and having to relearn the lesson.
Yeah.
I was in a class for short story writing with author Sadiqa Johnson. She's so amazing.
Oh, yes.
Yes, yes. House of Eve, Yellow Wife. Yes, she's amazing. So she's now local to Richmond, or has been the last several years. And I took a class with her. And one of the pieces of advice she gave to me about my writing was to slow down.
Hmm.
In
Love
my
that.
descriptions, just like, slow down,
What
because
does
I'm
that
wanting to
what
almost
does that
jump.
mean? It means I'm taking it what? What does that mean in
Well,
writing?
in it personally, when I was writing, it was as if I was trying to get to the point. And I wasn't slowing
Ah,
down in some ways to describe things. I wasn't probably honoring the what the pacing should have been and the stories. And I realized when I slowed down and really paid attention to what the character is trying to tell me, what the piece is trying to tell me, that things just turned out better. It made more sense. It flowed better. So even in these times, bringing that back, slow down. You're going to miss maybe a message, a connection, um, maybe a moment you have for peace. And if you believe in such thing, prayer. Yeah.
Absolutely.
that's a good point. And Kristina, you're such a strong human in so many different ways, like physically, emotionally, spiritually. What's one way you surprise yourself within your own strength? Like what sort of says, "Whoa, I didn't know that."
Ah, oh wow, that's a great question. Surprise myself. I don't know if I've surprised myself lately.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I think every day is just keep going. Sometimes it's the strength to look away when I want to, and because we live in a age where we have so access to so much information, and I want to feel like I want my hands in it all. Sometimes I need to be strong enough to look away, not to pretend it's not there. And I'm not talking about being apathetic. I'm talking about just looking away to honor my peace, to regulate my nervous system. Um, Strong enough to say you cannot do it all. You can't address everything. You can't. I don't think as human beings we were meant to ingest as much as we have been. Um, yeah, yeah. Some's not strong enough to do it all. And as again, it's a lesson. I sometimes I have to continuously tell
Especially
myself.
right
And
now.
we
yeah.
all do, I think.
Yeah. And so how do you look away? Do you go?
The slowing down and the stopping. Sometimes I look away by doing something, by writing or by reading something that, like, I'm on a contemporary romance kick and I absolutely love it right now. So I
What are
mean,
you reading? Like, what are you reading, Christina?
ah, oh, Kennedy Ryan. She has a Skyland series that I absolutely love because a lot of those books tend to lean towards 20 somethings, which is fine. You know, I mean, read those too, but these are women in their early 40s. The writing is beautiful, it's strong. She's a journalist turned contemporary, so you could tell that the writing is strong. I love her style, and it's women in their like early 40s, so which I relate to. So I'm thinking, wow, this is Black women in their early 40s with multicultural ties and relationships, children, not having children, which I do not. So I was really the latest was a woman who chose to be child free. So I things like that are right now. It's my way of stepping away from what I think is the crises of the world, which it is. It's also
Yeah.
talking about what I'm stepping away is also looking for the beauty in the world. It's still here.
Yes.
It's still here.
Yes.
It really is. Yeah.
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 Taking your husband's hand,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
together.
let's talk about that bond for our
Mhm,
listeners and viewers that don't know what's
mhm.
going on in your, your heart center. You mean you have a beautiful, it sounds like you have such a beautiful relationship. Share that a little bit.
Sure. Well, I do love talking about him. His name is Jeff. We've been together since, even though I don't honor the holiday, but Thanksgiving Day of 2010, that's when we met in
Wow.
person for the first time. We got married in 2012. We've been together for a long time. He is um, an extraordinarily strong person. He is okay with me talking about it, but he's had lupus since he was 10.
Mm.
And he is, when I say you wouldn't know it to look at him. He goes to work every day. I don't have to, what I love about him is I don't have to drag him anywhere. He may not be the most adventurous person naturally, but I don't have to drag him anywhere. It's
Mm.
always, you want to, let's go, let's do this. And he shows up for every single reading of mine. And
Oh,
I
that's
was sharing both with you, Amy and Jane, about his looking for a kidney donor, and his attitude is beautiful. I mean, I've never witnessed anything like that in real time. And he's not a perfect person, but I believe he's my right person. He's,
oh.
yeah, he's my partner. He is. He supports me. I support him.
Yeah.
And yeah, what I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. I've thought over the years, with hospitalizations, that I don't really want anyone to go through this, but I wish almost they would understand the feeling of almost losing someone, to understand what
Precious.
it's like to
Yeah.
really love someone and appreciate them while they're here.
Mm.
So I am very blessed. Yeah,
And
I think
he,
we're very blessed.
yeah, and he, every picture I've seen, I might have seen a few. Just radiant love for you, just radiant. He always looks radiant anyway, but you could just feel it coming off of these pictures. It's so wonderful and inspiring. So
Thank you, Jane.
I'm so happy for you, and
Thank you.
your love, and we'll definitely send out all the prayers for all the angels to circle around for
Thank
our
you. Thank you.
perfect match in kidney.
It's wonderful. I think that's, and I want to, Christina, about your writing,
Mhm.
because it's such a extraordinarily creative outlet. And it's so funny when you talk about, it was your sister mentioning that, you're right. It's kind of like heavy or sad or, that in
Mhm.
that sort of state, but that's how we express ourselves, in our
Yes.
life as well.
Mhm.
But has
Mhm.
your writing ever caught you off guard? Like you sat down and wrote something and said was totally unexpected that just came pouring out of you?
Yes. Twice. I can
Ah,
think of automatically off the top of my head. One time I was extremely angry, probably height of 2020, really angry, midst of a lot of uprisings. Um,
yeah.
and I was really angry. I had heard about a pastor calling the enslavement of Africans white blessings, and I lost it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, crazy.
I wrote so hard, I almost ripped the page as I was writing. Um, and the piece it is literally entitled, it's called Anger. So
Yeah.
it went a couple different places. And then another piece I wrote was called The Rules. It's about the rules I had for my body. I wrote it after a therapy session. And it's all these rules I made for my body that I don't really honor as much. And it's published in my book.
That you don't honor.
Not
Well,
anymore.
like
Not
maybe we have
like,
to have some
like for
more rest.
example,
Right.
well, I had all these rules about not showing my arms except for at the beach, and I don't.
no.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm thankfully you
like my
don't
upper
follow
arm.
that. I'm so
Yeah,
happy you don't do that.
yeah, not as much. I don't as much anymore. I'm still not as comfortable as I would like to be. I also dealt for a number of years with severe psoriasis. I'm under more control now, but it was from my scalp down to parts of my foot. So I would bleed, and I mean, I had a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, for my face, people would say rude things to me, like "What happened to your face?" Like just
My mom
it
had
was
that too.
awful.
It's a
So
big
yeah,
deal. Yeah, when
it
it's covering your
is.
body.
Exactly. And again, I had this, I had a supportive partner and family during that time. But I had all these rules about pretending to be happier than I was or joking about my appearance before anybody else could. I don't have a reason to do it anymore, but I also didn't want to do it anymore. And then the piece following that is called Liberation. And I feel like that's more of the woman that I am now. So, but the rules came directly from a therapy session. It's like, what are these rules I've made for myself?
Are
And
the
I
ru-
was,
are the
I
rules
love
in your
that.
book?
yes, yes.
What's
Yeah.
your book
I
called?
just want to.
Oh, do you want me to show it to you? Is that
Yes,
Oh,
please.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry I didn't grab. Yes,
Yeah.
I have
Let's
this book. It's
She
in the
lives
next
here.
in the
She lives
bookshelf.
here.
Yes.
I
Wow.
usually have it right here. She Lives Here
Yeah.
by Kristina Hamlett. And
Yes.
Kristina, we can find that through
Post
the
that.
New Miracle app also. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I think we
Yeah.
have. We have the links straight through from your. If we don't, I think
You
she
might.
do.
I think you
Yes.
do. I think you do. But
We
the
might have to
rules
have
of
you read that.
liberation are on that too. Yeah, they're in that piece.
Yeah.
They're in and She Lives Here. So yeah, but the fact that I had made all those rules, I didn't realize as I was writing it down, and the end of the rules tells me not to share my rules with the world. But obviously, the whole piece is me sharing everything. Yeah.
You're such a brilliant writer. We met under great circumstances as a very winning writer, and I am so excited to be continuing to work with you. And I really do want you to read the other poem, When You Wish.
Yes.
I don't know if we have time today, but if you wish,
I
I'd
know.
love to get it up. We can link it to the
Yeah, I will definitely submit it to the app because for some reason, it's not popping up right now. But yeah, I definitely would love to submit it to New Miracle. Yeah.
That
Oh,
would be
I just
wonderful.
found it. I
Of
just
course you
found it.
did.
I just found it. That's so. I was gonna say it's so strange, but no, maybe
It's a miracle.
It's
It's a
it's
new
a new
miracle.
miracle,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, I can read it right now if that would.
Yes,
that would be
please.
okay
Yes,
with both of you.
please. Yes.
Okay. Do I have the right? I fear what it may take to leave this version of my world behind. The work to build a new thing in a country I now call foreign, but one day I could call home. What if I never get to read that chapter of my book? What if I'm too worn, too weak, and all I know is all I will ever know? Will I be driven to the she that doesn't recognize the fight of the dream, the fighter, or the dreamer that used to wake up and face each day? Would that be worse than the grave? Worse than chains? Worse than my lifeless body disintegrating into salt and earth and nothingness? Yes, I have a right to feel this way. I do not know how to recognize Hope's face yet. Her eyes, their nose, his lips, the freshness of its breath.
That's beautiful. You speak from you. I can feel your heart. I mean, you speak with a massive amount of emotion, and I think that's why. Well, this is why you are so successful because of what you're doing. And Kristina, first of all, thank you for sharing that. What brings you joy right now?
Okay. Let's see.
I like the smile.
I
Yes,
know.
no.
She's so
The
beautiful.
broad.
Thank you.
You are so beautiful, Kristina.
Mentioning joy actually makes me happy. Good conversation brings me joy. Music brings me joy. When I walk outside, let's say I've just been kind of cooped up for a couple of days and not really doing anything, walking outside and knowing I'm about to go somewhere and have some fun, that brings me joy. I was at a Corinne Bailey Rae concert last week. It was an experience. Singing along, screaming when I saw her. She got into the audience and was putting the mic in people's face. And I loved every moment of it. Witnessing other people, I want to say, not just living out their dreams, but being engaged in their gift. And when you can tell they actually love it and they're not faking, they're not pretending, I can see it. The authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah, authenticity brings me joy. A good book, like sweet kisses from my husband, big warm hugs from people, especially I haven't seen them in a long time. Warm hugs, not that hug where people pat you. I mean,
My family hug is this.
Yeah.
I know when they do that, I go, bring it in, please. Come
There's
on.
like 5 pats. There's 5.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
you riffing on joy as a poem. You live your life as a poem. I mean, you are a walking poem. You know,
Wow.
the observations that
Mhm.
you're making just there in the riff of joy is so inspiring.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful to know you.
I'm grateful to know you and to meet you, Amy. I really am.
I can't wait for more poetry and more stories from you. I want to see your short stories too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a couple that I have to be less scared of showing them to the world.
Or more brave.
More brave.
Or
Christina, I know
we love you.
we're hopping off in a second, but may I ask you, would you play that out? Would you like to see your poems and short stories played out visually?
Oh,
It's interesting that you say that. For the first time, I'm actually going to hear my poetry differently. In September, I'm going to be performing with a band. And I've never done that
Cool.
before.
Like, what are you
So
gonna do?
I don't know the extent of it, but it'll be a live band and they'll be playing along while I'm reading some of my
I
poetry. So
love that.
it's
yeah,
poetic jazz.
Yes.
yeah.
I
So I've
love
never
that.
experienced that before. So that'll be different. But it's interesting that you say that because I've always thought about what would it be like to write a one woman show. I'm not an actress, so as this, but do love. I believe in the emotion when I read my poetry, and sometimes I think, is that a form of acting?
Yes.
It's a
Yeah,
form of being.
Yes.
Jane,
And
is
it's
that?
Yes.
authentic, and it's, I mean, that's what it's all about, is the authenticity. Isn't that what, the good stuff comes from just sort of feeling it in your heart?
You feel it
Mm-hmm.
in your heart.
Isn't
You are what you're sharing, or
yeah.
you're hiding what you're sharing, or there's love behind what you're sharing. I mean, there's always the I am in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're saying. But yes, I do. So I see poets. There's some poets that are very staid and they present the words, and then there's some like you that actually are speaking them and you feel
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even call it. I've seen people perform their poetry also, but
Mhm.
there's some sweet spot in the middle that you're doing that I love.
Yes.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
hungry for more, so I hope you'll share more on the platform too.
I will. I
Yes,
will.
please.
I know
Christina,
you,
such a pleasure.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
yes.
Thanks for your gifts. Really, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Jane. It was such a pleasure to be with you.
We love
Kisses to
you
both of
so.
you.
So
Thank
fun,
you.
so much fun. We'll do this again soon.
Absolutely.
Definitely.